it's not that you can't do Photoshop. You don't have the patience to deal with it.
There are a gazillion buttons in that damn thing.
You have now joined the iCouple podcast show. Let me introduce our hosts, Laura and Xavier.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the iCouple. I'm Laura.
That's my thing.
You didn't say anything. I was just wondering if you were still paying attention.
Of course I'm paying attention. I'm a multitasker. Are you kidding?
I see, like looking down Facebook, writing down notes.
I'm not writing down notes. I am figuring out our bills and budget and stuff like that. Important things.
Yeah. Well, as we come to like the end of the year, which this has been a crazy one and a very busy one.
Yes, very much so.
Yes.
And a very financial oriented one, especially the latter half of this year.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, of course, there's the obvious stuff out there. That's the holidays, the Christmas time and stuff like that. And then we throw in the whole house mix up and whatever is going on with that, which we got updates that we'll update you later on that.
Yeah, when we have more concrete info.
Yes. And we noticed that there has been a few more people jumping on the iCouple train, which is awesome.
Well, yes, I know when we first started the podcast, you might not know this about me. You might start picking it up somewhere along the way if you haven't already. But I like to do research on things. I do believe I've said this before. Anyhow, so I did like all sorts of research. I've joined there's like this group that's called Podcasting Smarter. Yeah, Podcasting Smarter.
Yeah.
On Facebook, and I joined them, and it's like associated with Podbean and things like that. Anyhow, so I joined that, and I saw a few people when we first started our podcast mentioning being featured on there. So it's like, okay, I did more research and I found out like, oh, if you send this stuff info to this email person and all this fun stuff, they might actually feature you if you have at least 10 episodes by the time that they feature you. So
get more eyeballs on material.
That was back in June, I believe I sent that email out, and they came back and were like, yeah, we'd love to feature you in November. So many months later, they have a schedule, and they were obviously booked out because they got a lot of people on Podbean, a lot of podcasts that get hosted there. So anyhow, I knew it was happening sometime in November. I completely forgot what dates they were. And then all of a sudden I started checking the latter half of November, checking every day or whatever to see if we were featured. And then voila, it happened.
Yeah.
On Monday, last Monday.
Which was awesome. So it's like, it's nice to at least have because it's hard to really get your name out there in any way, sort of fashion.
Yes. Especially when, we have nothing backing us. I mean, what was that big YouTuber that does like the video, Casey Neistat.
Yes.
Anyhow, him and his wife started a podcast shortly thereafter we did, and there's more talks about there's talks about their relationship where we kind of just talk about other stuff.
We would talk about our relationship, but we bounce back and forth.
Well, theirs is like couple therapy, so they talk about their therapy and things like that or whatever. And things they've learned. And anyhow, so it was like, yeah, I mean, obviously us and them, they had a lot more followers.
If you don't know who Casey Neistat, he's a really big guy on YouTube, mostly making vlogs and whatnot, starting his own company, does really, really well for himself. We're not Casey Neistat.
No, I mean, we make no money off of anything but our jobs.
Yes.
And this is not a job yet for us. We would love it to be someday, but for now, it's something we do on the side. It's an extra thing.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I wouldn't want to do this for over a couple of years now.
It took a bit more convincing on my part.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. But in a way, there was the whole idea of making money. And of course, everyone wants to make money. Yeah. The people listening, they are also in the driving to want to make money. But I think
money kind of helps.
Yes, which may be your only reason. Like maybe there's money attached to this. But I guess for me, I wanted to actually have a place where we can actually put a message out there, or, if nothing else, to a small crowd or something like that. But that way it feels like I'm not just, I have like, certain things I'd like
I
to
am
say.
just one person among a billion. You want to put your stuff out there.
Yeah.
And, and I'm the supportive wife who, is more of a, I would rather hide behind my door and
You're going to
not
convince everybody I forced you
not
into
talk
this.
no, you can't force me to do anything I don't want to. We know this. I might be sweet and kind and innocent and all this fun stuff,
She's not
but
that sweet, kind, or innocent.
You can't force me to do something I don't want to do.
Anyway, that was the reason for. I felt like, after so much going on, like I really feel like I can add to these topics that I'm listening about, the issues with Apple, the stuff going on with computers, certain topics that I just feel like get overlooked. One big one, which I would love to do maybe next week or the week after, I'm actually putting a top 10 list on family games that you can play with, like video games, but that are family games.
Do they have 10?
They may not have 10, honestly. We did have that one episode with Tara that we played with our daughter, and that's the closest I've found where it's an extremely fun, engaging game that's not family oriented, but you can make it happen. You have to kind of make it work that way. But
yeah, well, that's most games. There aren't really any games, even the ones that are geared towards kids. They're not necessarily the safest of options, so there's always kind of pros and cons when it comes to it. But anyhow, this one is not about games or anything like that.
Yeah.
We actually are here. As a, this is our first episode after our follower count increased quite a lot,
which is great.
Last I looked, we went from 7 to 175.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty large,
not a large subset. So welcome everyone.
Yes, welcome everyone. Thank you.
New and old, welcome.
If you've listened to any of our other episodes, you will know that we kind of ramble off in the beginning, but we do have a point and we do talk about it. But what we wanted to talk about is this whole idea of, okay, we just started. We have 31 episodes plus, our bonus episodes that we've done. And that is only the ones we've published, because there are plenty others that we just have not published one reason or another.
Yes, because of embarrassment.
Yeah. But either way, so, we are still new and we're trying to figure out what we are as a podcast, what we can offer as a podcast. And, when we first started, it was one thing, and now it's kind of grown into a little bit more. So we're figuring out our niche.
Yeah, I think when we first started, we kind of had an idea of what we wanted to be or what we wanted this podcast to be. Now that we've done it, we know, we had a good idea of what we are now.
And we kind of put us under the generic brand of relationship podcast.
We are tying this to the logo. I know you saw the thumbnail. You want us to get to that. But yes, this is tying to the logo.
Branding, it is a lot more than just what do you talk about. And so that's kind of what we're talking about. I went for a degree in business and a minor in marketing. And that doesn't necessarily help me all that much with, branding and how to do the business and, all that fun stuff.
It's something when you're doing it like on yourself, there's the holding the book and then trying to figure out what you're trying to do.
Yeah. And
then there's like, okay, now go. And it's like,
yeah, we just kind of started and, we created a logo. We started doing the pictures. We started doing, figuring out what we wanted to do. Should we put up a Patreon now? How difficult should we make the Patreon? There's should we do YouTube? Whatever. There's a lot of
test and bumped in every direction.
Yeah,
so as far as being new and kind of flailing about, I think the good thing, I think it's good to flail. I think personally it's good to flail.
Well, it's
not to fail,
it's all a part of the
but flail about.
It's all a part of the learning process. You know, you don't know what you want to do until you start doing it, and then you figure out oh wait, no, I don't want to do that. So we're figuring us out. But it's always going to be about our dynamic around topics. But I think we've kind of been all right, well maybe we should kind of make this a little bit more niche, not so broad.
Exactly. This is discussing every issue underneath the sun, which I think in a way, since we had such an interesting startup, I think that it still helps as part of our growth, like having our earlier episodes, especially with the kittens. We had an issue with kittens that has nothing related to any topic we had, but it was a part of our adventure.
I mean, a huge part of our life for quite a while.
Yes, exactly. So
not an expected one.
So yeah, there's some episodes that's like totally not related.
Well,
to
and there's
theme.
things that have happened in our life that we haven't even been able to talk about yet. So, I mean, it's just life happens. And so we will always have those ones that we throw into there like, oh man, we really need to talk about this. And maybe it doesn't necessarily fall under our specific,
Yeah, there was the what was it was I cannot think of the guy. His name is from Facebook.
Oh my God, that is not very specific at all.
The guy from Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg. Okay. When he was on the court and trial, and we had discussions like that, talking about kind of what we saw with the huge level of the understanding tech between the ages of the.
I mean, there's always going to be a generation gap.
Yeah, but those are the topics that we would like to kind of gear more towards.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. We both have different kind of backgrounds in tech. And then we also both approach topics from very different sides. I mean,
Laura has a very unique perspective in tech. I think most people, when they think of tech, they think of what I am normally coming from. But she's definitely
tech is expanded beyond just computer and phone. I mean, it's like there's so much out there. I mean, with the internet now, there are so many things we haven't even begun to figure out, of how to even work this out and do it. And I mean, we were just watching a show with Jimmy Fallon, I think it was, and he had like the robots on there. And I mean, like, it's just insane.
The one with the tomato feeding him.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, this is just the tip of an iceberg, but our generation, our age, like we've gone from, I mean, I remember a time when we didn't have a computer in my house,
Same.
like, we had the home phone, I had
the dial up
like
one,
this huge brick of a Game Boy, I mean, just like all these things that we've seen. And, I mean, the dial up was like, I mean, like, I still remember that sound that was just like horrible. I mean, I get annoyed now when I get slow internet, but nothing compares to that.
I mean, I just couldn't understand being like, a full-on adult back then and how that must have been. If you were in the dating realm and just having to sit by the phone until something called. Now you just kind of go out and about and it's like, oh man, who's calling me now? Oh, it's this person.
I mean, we're a generation that knows rotary phones, pay phones, a time before cell phones, a time when there wasn't anything called a smartphone,
Now we're syncing up contacts to our, parents' phones and stuff like that and trying to teach them how to use their device. And like, here's how you send an email.
Yep.
We've been part of that huge gap, especially when it comes to communications and stuff like that. And I think that's kind of more where we want to go and more what we want to be.
Yeah.
So getting to the logo.
Yes.
Do you want to first discuss like, kind of the old logo and kind of like, general why we kind of went that direction?
So I mean, the first process I think that we went through when we realized we wanted to do a podcast was like, okay, well, what do we name ourselves? And that took a while.
Yes, that did take a while.
Yeah. I mean, we would come up with all sorts of different kind of ideas, but then we Google it like, no, that won't work.
XL tech or something like that, or whatever.
I mean, that would be very like X-rated kind of.
Yeah, exactly. It could go in the wrong directions, like XLR tech.
So we finally fell on the iTcouple, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that like had I and T and IT, and both of us have IT kind of backgrounds, but different IT backgrounds. So, it's a play on words. We always thought like, hey, plus, we are the couple kind of thing. I don't know, it's.
I like saying, I mean, we're in a happy marriage and we've been together for now 11 years.
Well, 11 married.
11 married. 12 before, which means we knew each other for less than a full year.
Yep.
before we got married, and we made it. I was thinking, and part of me like kind of loves saying that to people. Is like, that was what I think.
We were dating, 6 months, and I asked you to marry me.
Yeah, this is not wise advice. I'm not saying to do this for if there's not young people out there.
I mean, but the thing is, there is no set plan when it comes to relationships. There is no like, this is the rule book and this is how it works. I mean, you're two different people. Every person is two different people when they get in relationships. Yeah,
she likes olives. Like, who does that? Like, who likes? Sorry, I just love throwing that out there. Like, when it comes to two different people, like, yeah, you like
pineapple on pizza.
Well, pineapple's delicious.
So much more. No, that is so much more controversial than my olives. Thank you very much.
Take your olives. You take your olives. There's a trash can in the back. I just pulled it. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anywho, so there's tech and romance. That's where we're at.
So anyhow, then we try to figure out like, okay, what can we do with the iCouple thing? And I don't know why we ever really like. I mean, I guess the red and blue is a very popular kind of color.
I'm also wondering if, like, just maybe in the back of my mind when I was putting this together, there was like a whole bunch of stuff with elections that happened around the same time. I mean, maybe. And I may have inadvertently just had that happen to my design.
I mean, well, it first started off as this, like, you had the white like hat at an odd angle, and then we put the iCouple on it. But, it made multiple changes through that.
I didn't see it as a hat. You pointed out the hat part.
Yeah, I always saw the hat. I guess I thought that's what you were trying to go for. But
no, not
anyhow,
at all.
It was more recent that we're like, we probably should stop being the patriotic couple since we don't ever really.
The whole time, like, here's in my head, I was thinking before, like, I
always thought it looked like Uncle Sam's hat, and I thought that's what you were going for. When you pointed out, I was
like, no, why did I do this? Because like, okay, when I was looking at it, like, because the IT inside the hat was supposed to be transparent the entire time, but of course, lo and behold, there's always going to be a background. Yeah. Most of the backgrounds we use needed to be white.
Yep.
And so it became red, white, and blue. So I was thinking it was just a red logo with blue lettering at the bottom, and then of course add any other flavor on it, and that's always now the Uncle Sam hat. So
it is.
So we have it in our history. We had the Uncle Sam hat logo.
Yep. But we finally decided to update it.
Yes.
So yeah, now it's probably more us kind of feel, has that retro kind of gaming, which we, like.
Yeah.
So anyhow, take a look at it. Let us know what you think of our new logo. And we still have our old one up there, so you can kind of like compare, I guess.
Yeah,
but it will change.
What
eventually.
I want to do on Instagram is so follow us on Instagram at iCouple. It's coupled
at iCouple podcast. Yeah,
at iCouple podcast. And on there, I'm gonna have some of our older the ones I haven't we didn't go with. So I still have those up there. Like, there are other ideas. I had one where there's a play with the IT with kind of like a real artistic way of kind of playing with the words. But you can see kind of where our thought process at. So you can see the rejected ones. And I think,
I think it's kind of normal when, you have to do these things yourself. And and while we can create logos, we know how to do that. Like, I many, many years ago, before it was even a big thing, I used Canva. And a lot of people probably know Canva now. Some of you might not know Canva. If you don't know Canva, go search it. Canva. It's awesome.
It's the Wix website of marketing. There you go.
Well, yeah, of like social media images and things like that. It's a really great tool to have. Whether you do anything business wise or not, it's a great tool. Anyhow. So we use that. And you, Xavier, you're actually really good with Photoshop. I've tried doing stuff with Photoshop. That's nope.
Okay, let me just break it down. Okay. It's not that you can't do Photoshop. You don't have the patience to deal with it.
There's a gazillion buttons in that damn thing. And then you go search for a tutorial. I went to freaking Adobe's tutorial for Photoshop. And you know what? They were telling me buttons I couldn't find anywhere in it. I was like, no, I'm done. I'm done. I can't do it.
Well,
that drove me nuts.
But
they're like, oh, just go click this little button. I'm like hunting everywhere. I put my freaking cursor over every single button option that there was.
Okay, I feel like there's somebody maybe listening to us is going, it was the workspace.
I don't freaking care. I don't care what. No, if you have a tutorial on your site, it needs to be updated for whatever, there is, or you need to have multiple options or say, hey, okay, make sure you check which workspace or whatever crap you have and that you have the right tutorial because, I'm sorry, that's what a tutorial's for.
Well, it's in their defense, it's a really big, massive, complex
program. Drove me nuts.
Yes. So you can do a lot, but that's kind of like its charm. You can just kind of...
No charm. No charm.
Anyway, I did the logo, okay? And I did like a final, touch up to kind of change things up, which what we wanted to go with, because you kept giving me feedback on what I was doing and what you didn't like about the other ones. Like one was too complex, or
I don't have a problem telling him how it is.
My time to talk.
Fine.
Okay. So from a lot of the older logos, they seem to be going more towards too romantic or to this, like something that looked kind of play on the iCouple, but where this one didn't really play on anything, didn't play on the couple part, didn't really play on the IT part. So I want to kind of a way to kind of put ourselves.
Yeah, when your name is already iCouple, we don't need to throw it out in their face like, hey, we are lovey dovey, and we love each other, but we don't we don't. I don't know. I feel like romantic is when you don't have a word that says romantic. Then you use the font type and the colors to make it look more romantic. But when ours is already called,
doesn't like flowers. Now like Laura's the type of girl who doesn't like flowers and art.
I would rather get fake flowers because they last longer.
She's very practical. So you see what I'm working with here. So as I'm going through here, I'm like, okay, so I'm just trying to get an idea of what
also never ever send me those box of chocolates that have
no, do send it to her.
No.
The ones that have consumed one way or another.
The ones that have the random different flavors in there.
I love those.
Those drive me nuts. I hate them because they're icky. You don't know what you're grabbing, and then also you pop in your mouth, and you're like, "Ew, what the heck?"
Which answers the next question that no one asked: was why is there a lowercase I and a big T? I think in a way it's a way to kind of show how our opposites. How opposite we are really does work together.
Well, plus I think that was our way of trying to differentiate it from actually being information technology IT.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, while we are techie, we don't want to be information technology couple.
Yeah, we wanted the people I wanted people to say either reference the show as the IT couple or the it couple, and that. No, those both be the correct way to kind of go for it. I think we always refer it as iCouple because it's just phonically an easier way to say it. But then also I threw in a miniature logo, with just ITC, just kind of get people used to the acronym and saying that. So we're going to be placing some of our thumbnails with ITC and using the iCouple probably for more, branding on top of stuff. Yeah.
And while there's a lot of things that we put podcast at the end of it, there are some things that we've kind of taken it off of, like the logo. It's not, we don't need to be redundant with the fact that we're a podcast when you're listening to us as a podcast, So,
exactly. We're not a ketchup company.
But there are some things that we've had to put podcast in it because, iCouple was already taken. So, it's a way to differentiate us from just iCouple.
And I think also when we started too, we want to, let people who get an idea. Oh, okay. So what is this? It's a podcast. So, so sometimes we threw in the name and there's kind of bridges that gap.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Yep.
And actually,
plus, it was still a new kind of thing for us, even though you listen to a lot of podcasts and I don't, but you listen to a lot of them, it was still a new media for us, a new medium, not one that we necessarily knew, and we still don't really know. It's like anything, there's always learning curves, which
exactly
that's kind of what we're
do some
doing.
of our past episodes. You will probably hear some of the learning curves too. Right now, for people who want to know, and people love asking this question, we're using a Yeti Mic Pro. One, Yeti Mic Pro.
Yep.
And
that's because he's bought me
don't you
2
blame
or
me on
3
this.
different
Don't you blame
microphones
me on
now?
this. Okay. Okay.
Hey, you've done the research on it, not me.
Yeah, because I'm trying to find the cheapest of the cheapest mic because that's what you want.
Sorry, we can't spend $1 gazillion to buy another one of these things. These things are expensive.
Yes, and if we got them once, we don't need to buy another one like we have with this one.
Yeah, but even with the other ones that you have bought me, we still haven't spent over $100 together on it.
Yes, but maybe we should.
These are like what, $200 or $300?
No, they're on sale. There you can get them for $99.
On sale right now. Go grab it.
Hey, anyway, here's my point by that. There are some of our previous episodes. You can hear some of the mic changes and stuff like that. That's part of our growing pains. We're still talking about interesting stuff, and you're maybe like, oh man, what's going on with the microphone? It's just the growing pains that we've been through, though. So far, I can say
Plus, you've gotten a lot better using the editing software and stuff like that too. There was growing pain with that as well.
Yeah. Oh, again, for people listening to this, one of my most interesting recordings was with recording Spancore, the rise of a YouTuber. That
was actually our last episode.
Yes.
31. Episode 31.
Yes. That entire episode was dubbed over. I dubbed over.
Well, your voice was dubbed.
Yes, I had to dub over every word that I said in it without me even knowing it, because the previous software I used to record it just didn't record my voice. It recorded everybody else's, just didn't record mine. So that was me ad-libbing, going back and listening to the entire recording, which you're supposed to do. And then kind of going back and forth, like, okay, what did I say in this part of the conversation? And what did I say before? So all that was ad-lib right on the spot. So if it sounds a little janky, just add to one of the things I had to learn. On the Majin Buu episode, usually with us, we kind of got an idea. I don't have to rush or try to fix things in the back. But with the Majin Buu episode, a lot of the conversation was very there was a lot of stops in it, so like a lot of large gaps. So what I had to do with that is actually manually close all the gaps between the conversation, so it make the conversation fly faster. So I'm learning and growing as we're continuing on.
Yeah, I think when it's just you and me and that dynamic, it's a lot easier than you throw 3rd, 4th, 5th. And then, of course, these are people that you don't necessarily know.
Yeah, they don't normally podcast.
I mean, you and I don't care whether we step over each other. If I want to say something, I'll say it and you'll say it. And we're not going to get upset at each other because we're in a relationship. We're married. It's okay. I know the podcasting world is don't step all over each other, which I completely understand in a professional
unless
setting.
It's a debate podcast.
But you're my husband, and professional goes out the window.
I'm your professional husband. How about that?
Is there anything else? An unprofessional husband. I'm going to have one of those, apparently.
You're trying to collect?
I plan on only having one. We're good.
All right. To end up, want to kind of like just cover like one other detail on the new logo on there, which our daughter actually noticed because she wanted to put her opinion on the matter, what she thought about it.
Oh yeah, she doesn't have a problem doing that.
No, yeah, I wonder where she gets that from. But
her extroverted side.
First thing she noticed was the colors on there. So we got the blue, dark blue, little light lines, and the orange.
Nope. Not orange.
Which we can fix that now before we put this out there.
No, I'm okay with it. It's just stop calling it orange. It's not.
Orange.
It's like a fiery,
orange,
orangey red. Burnt orange, red. I don't know.
Anywho, I'm calling it orange.
Sure.
You guys leave a comment somewhere.
Yes, let us know. Is this logo red or orange?
For the couple part. Anyway, the reason why I had it.
Not the blue one. That one's more obvious.
Yeah, the reason why I kind of had it set that way is to kind of make a breakup between the it and couple. So that way people, because I remember with previous logos I had in the past where people just run over and say all the words together. And it's like, no, that's not how you say that. So, these
are 2 separate words.
Exactly. So people just put it a couple. and I could see that happening if I just had them like all the same way, it a couple. You'll see probably one of my rejected logos.
It's like your name that you
Extra
did.
Smart.
No. I love beer. You became I love.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Back in the days of World of Warcraft,
Yeah.
I'm playing a game. No, 99% of the time I play a female character, but I try to leave like some kind of clue that, hey, this is not
I'm a guy.
Yeah, I'm a guy, and I figured I love beer. Excellent name. Who's I know girls love beer too, but I figure that that's a little hint that maybe you should question this scenario. No. Hey, love, come here, love, and they're all talking to me. I'm playing with Laura here, so I'm getting all the love. This is all these guys coming on to me. I'm getting free.
I think you got hit on more than I did.
I got so much free stuff too. Maybe people would mail stuff to me on that game. Like,
so funny.
Hey, love. God, why? Beer's right there.
Yeah. So yeah, either way. So I guess that is kind of what we wanted to talk about. And, we're still growing and we're so happy you're here to grow with us or listen to us grow. I don't know, whatever. If you have any questions for us, our new, or old or, whatever, our previous 7 people or our new 100 and ish.
Or if you're that person that reaches out, because they do exist. They come out and then they'll ping, they'll tweet or whatever. If you're one of those people, go ahead and do us a shout out. We would love the attention, and hell, we will definitely do it.
We just love communicating.
Also, give them this upcoming news. We are opening up a Discord. I know it's not that hard to open up a Discord server, but I do want to kind of have this set up right. So I'm thinking about next week, I'll actually have the new Discord server, iCouple Discord fam. I think it's iCouple fam is what I'm calling the Discord, and an area for people to have discussions, talk about the next topic that we want to go in. Maybe
ask us a question.
Yep, we'll be super slewing some evidence.
Give us some tips.
Or
hey, maybe you've listened to more podcasts than, well, probably me, definitely.
Or you
I don't
can
even listen to ours.
Or you can listen to us live and jump into a chat room with us. Oh, you got scared of that one. Okay, so you can listen to us live.
We need some alcohol for that one, and I don't even drink.
Well, they can listen to us live, and the good thing is we can go back to the chat and then we can respond to what they may be saying. So maybe something is, well, hey, talk about this, or why don't you think of this, or what's your opinion on this, and we can actually have this back and forth. So like it would just be like the way we're doing it now. We just have some people that would be helping us direct if they would be so brave in order to chat a little bit with us. So Discord server, that should be out and ready by next week. Monday, this was when we release new episodes. And guys, thank you so much for joining in.
And girls, ladies, women.
There are a lot of ladies. I'm thinking that we're outnumbered here. We gotta guys.
I'm not outnumbered. I don't know what you're talking about.
Anywho, now that we're wrapping up,
we'll take it all.
Yeah, we will. Anyway, so starting off getting close to the new year with a nice bang, getting some more people into the iCouple crew. This is awesome.
I know, it is awesome. Yep. Oh, and we hope that you had an awesome Thanksgiving.
Oh goodness, yes.
Or not Thanksgiving. I mean, I know some people don't celebrate it. And even in America, some people don't celebrate it.
Hey, but you know what? Whether you celebrate it or not, you do take those days off if you have the time to take the days off.
Take it while you can.
You do take the food if your friend gives like, hey, we need all this food.
America,
like, yeah, I'll take it.
We're one of the worst with the time off.
Yes.
Anyhow, so yeah, we hope you had a good day off celebrating time. Oh, and if you went into shopping, Black Friday, we're not big Black Friday people. I did it once. Don't ever want to do it again.
Oh, I want to do another topic about Black Friday. Now that we found out that it's not as hot as it used to be.
Yeah, well, it's because everything's moving to the internet. So Cyber Monday is much more of a hot thing. Plus, they're expanding upon
now.
it.
So this is going to come out.
Yeah, I guess
Monday.
You're right. I didn't even think about that.
Oh yeah, but prepare for deals. Deals are going to be everywhere.
And they will go quickly, according to the internet.
According to the internet, of course they say that.
Limited stock, limited time. Hurry while it lasts. And it says you save this much money, but really, are you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I hunt on newegg.com, so maybe happy hunting there. Anyway, until next time, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to the fam. Until next time, take it easy.
See ya!